Welcome in, everybody, to the NJCAAE Esports Match of the Week. Hi, everyone. My name is Quinn, better known as Colorblind, joined with Moo. And Moo, how are you feeling today? We're about ready to jump on into the Valorant action.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. This is honestly, I have not seen these teams play at all. So I'm really excited to see how they would play these maps. And
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm just looking forward. It's so cool. This is so cool.
It's gonna be a really fun one, especially when you talk about these two teams, right? You have Columbia Basin, you have Arizona Western College. Both of them are off to pretty similar starts here, aren't they?
They are. They actually are 2-11 on each team. So, Columbia does have a 2-win streak, is what I've noticed while looking back at their games, and AWC does have a win and a lose streak with also 2-11. So I'm looking forward to how they play Bind here, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you briefly outlined it there with Columbia Basin. They're on that 2-game win streak. They started off the season a little bit rough, going on that first L in the column. But for Arizona Western, on the other side of the coin, you have a team that's a little bit more hot and cold, back and forth. They still are in that 2-1 win column, so still looking good. But again, you outlined the maps. Let's take it through here. We have Bind to kick things off. And talk to me a little bit about this map.
Bind. Well, personally, for me, I love Bind. One specific thing I love about Bind is the TPs. So there's TPs on the backside, CPs in the middle, and it's just like so easy to rotate, but also you could hear those TPs. So once the enemy team hears the TPs, well, there you go. There's a rotate signal, So it's a little scary, but also on Bind, you have to rely on a lot of util to get on site, and you have to usually be quick, So everything literally happens in the moment once you get onto site, and it's just a scary thing in the moment. So yeah.
It's one of those stereotypical 2-site maps, but you have a little bit of a nice layer with the teleportations, adding some opportunity for some quick rotations. It's also Columbia's map pick, and they will be starting off on the attacker side. So let's not stall. Let's jump on in. Let's see these team compositions, and talk to me about what you might see when it comes to agent play on a map like Bind. You've obviously outlined the map itself, but what kind of agents would you like to see come out and play?
Honestly, I see here that our attacker CBC is pulling up 100 Thieves comp with their dual controllers, which I think is interesting. And they do got a raise, so they got easy entry. But they don't have a sentinel, which is going to be a little bit difficult because there's a lot of lurks that could happen in Bind, and it's a little scary. But I did notice that AWC does have a senti, and they have their Astra, which it could be a little bit challenging, but if you use her util right, honestly, it could go very, very far. And they got that Yoru honestly, Yoru on Bind will go crazy, because Yoru's TPs, oh geez, they can come out of nowhere. You can literally come out of nowhere. 1 second you see him, the next second you don't.
I mean, teleportations on top of teleportations is what we were seeing on that side of the coin for Arizona Western. And again, you see a little bit of similar things coming out from either which team. You see the Gecko in the play as well, and once the Rays get selected, you will see double Rays on either side of the coin, but it's both teams kind of coming at this a little bit differently here.
One's their comps are very different, but unique in their own ways, and this is going to be a very crazy game based on their agents.
It's going to be a fun one here as we get ready to bounce on into the first round. The pistol round coming online in a matter of moments, as both of these teams have the opportunity to break out of that similar record on the board in terms of how we're seeing things pan out thus far. Both of them on that 2-1 win column. What will they be able to do in this spot? Here we go, folks. Jumping on in with the pistol round.
Oh, this is so exciting. All right, what do we see here? We got Cypher util on B. Ooh, looks like also TBC is going to be pulling up onto B site. There is 2 players from TBC on A. We got our Asha doing, I don't know what. She's just cooking up something in her brain, But we're going to start here in 4 seconds. 3, 2, and 1.
Let's get on into the action. Pistol round online. CBC slow and steady to make their way over towards that B side. And you do have quite a bit of presence here from Arizona. break up the first line of offense, sending a couple of shots in. It's not going to connect for anything, not even the tags, and now the Astra coming into play, as is Epi around the corner. He goes, first kill on the board, just not going to be able to center for the second, unfortunately. It's back and forth trades. They ignite their way into the site.
Enemy down.
We got AWC here to
Smoke's down.
control the site and swing. We got Astra lurking in on elbow, hoping to get a pick and information. Ooh, but we've got two people lurking up. We're putting in the side and they got it. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Ooh, but we got Gecko.
Not a whole lot that you could do there. You were the Astra, unfortunately. Now everything's starting to look good, but hold on, wait a minute. Armando finding his way inside Glaive as well, trying to provide the support from that bottom side of the map. Makes things a 2v3, now makes things a 2v2. Armando is absolutely popping off, has to go for the refrag engagement. Young Chicken will take out his compadre, comes down to the 1v2. What can Armando do? Not a whole lot when Young Chicken is frying in the kitchen. It's going to be a nice, clean round out of AWC there.
Damn, that was honestly very scary. He was getting very much crunched on both ends. He honestly played that very calm and playing well. I would honestly freak out, but you know, he did get some decent picks. Third, we see AWC here getting a full buy, and then CBC just chilling in the back, hoping to get any picks they can. If they get any picks, honestly, this would do so much for them.
Yeah, want to quickly outline for the folks at home. I might have called that one a little bit differently. It's actually CBC coming out to play in that first round, taking the round win. That is my fault. Going into the attacker side. Now they have the economic credits to work for the side of AWC. They're just going to get a little crafty around the corner. They go. Stellar! He's going to pick the first kill up, and now they know that this is going to be a ratty play here from AWC.
Oh no.
With kills going either which way, things exchanging out down to a 4v3. The spike gets planted on the site. Joe, the lone player standing on the site, is going to take care of Fred, but not before the spike will get planted. Now for CBC, they have them right where they want them. Can they get the kills to justify, though? That is the question. Telekit with one on the board. Now things starting to look real good as Young Chicken just picking up right where they left off. Epi will finally shut them down. Now it's really interesting situation that we're seeing here. The only players really on the site is going to be from AWC, but they don't have enough credence. Unfortunately, their move to get that spike diffused, and Sengo is going to send them packing.
This is a very, very good for CBC. They did get some picks off of the ABC, and honestly, that was very, very well. They are going to force, oh no, they're not going to force here. They are going to play a little bit with their econ, but you know, they'll have enough for next. And we got CBC buying here. And honestly, they got their picks, you know? So this is honestly, this is really well. It could go well for both sides.
I think the interesting thing here is the fact that CBC, they're coming out with the sheriffs, while AWC, they're going to have all of the buys. Even after losing those last two rounds, they finally have the opportunity to recollect themselves in terms of the economy. So they'll have the opportunity to fire back for the first time. It doesn't look like EBC necessarily had what they needed to get those buys going. But over towards the B side they go.
They could do so much with the sheriff as long as they execute everything very well. They could, you know, do it pretty well. They are getting here. We're trying to get any information that they could get onto the site, but Cypher Utah is still up, and they could take the teleport towards A, so that's the cue to go to A. But they honestly have a couple team members there already coming to the plant. You know, it's all about a matter of time here. They pick up the and
around the world strategy here for Colombia as they go over towards the B side, and then they say, nah, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and hit the left foot, right foot express straight through the teleporters over towards the opposite side of the map, and now trying to get kills to justify with the spike down. They've got to lock things in. Telekit will find one. DJ Fallen will take after his fallen foe, but unfortunately, things starting to swing the way of Arizona. A couple of key kills will enter the feed, and Stellar will once again pick one up. Comes down to Sengo into the 1v3, now a 1v2, now a 1v1. Sengo cannot be stopped until Epi finally makes the miraculous play. Nothing. The first round going the way of Arizona will come through.
It's cutting through.
You know, honestly, they did lose a little bit of fun here on Team Colombia, but they still won the round. It's a 1-2. They still won it. Team Red here is able to afford a little bit or actually Fuyito with CBC, not CBC, my apologies, ABC being able to afford just a little, but hopefully enough so they could win this round.
Yeah, it's a really interesting position because typically in the fourth round, you're going to see all these teams come out with full buys. But for the side of Arizona, I mean, after winning that round, they still don't necessarily have the credits that you think they would have to actually get a full buy going. So instead, it is going to be Colombia with the artillery advantage. Will they have the round advantage, though? That is the question as they once again head over towards that B side, at least in the initial stretch.
Lurking up here trying to get any information off of Hookah. They did get the cue that there is a raise on Sam here. But Yoru is in the TP waiting for his perfect opportunity. But he got killed! Oh no!
Tries to get out with his life, but it is denied, and now you're starting to see the push come straight through for Colombia. They have the opportunity to ignite their way on into the site. Joe is the lone player, and he's just going to be in stun hell. This is not the spot that you want to be in if you are Joe, but they're going to give him a little bit of a second lease on life. Now head over towards the A side, and now the shot's coming through over towards that site.
We do see CBC here planning on to A. They got, honestly, a little bit slow on the A site. We got ABC lurking up a little bit from CT. They're just trying to get any information or any pick they can honestly get. But, you know, they got Astra. They're pulling out the Astra here for the start. Kind of milked everything here. You know, the way that Team is positioned very well. Ooh, they get up to lurk into lamp. It's gonna have a double kill. PC. My apologies. It's 2 kills off the lamp. He does spot one up in heaven, and they do get the pick off of heaven, bringing them to a 1 and 3.
I mean, Peace cut. He just said peace there. They sent them all packing. 2 kills on the board, and now we should go into what should be our first buy round between these two teams, at least in the full sense of it. Getting all those Vandals, getting all those Phantoms, all the artillery to possibly work with as they both finally stand on the same footing as one another. Now the question truly does become, hey, which of these teams is going to strike when it's all knotted up? You actually take a look at the credits, and still, for the side of Arizona, I mean, they are struggling ever so slightly to get that full buy going. You have 2 Vandals with 2 full shields, but that's really all you've got. So it's a little bit of a misread on my part, but nonetheless, once again, a little bit of deja vu over towards that B side.
Go get him.
Honestly, CBC is doing very, very well on taking site, and they're executing it and getting their ones. Ooh, but he does get Yoru does get a pick onto this race from Hookah.
It's going to cause a little bit of a pause here for the side of Colombia as they're maybe reconsidering what they want to do with their approach into this B site. Now that Epi is in there, and Epi is looking to absolutely piece them apart. That's just the warning shot, and when the warning shot connects, you got to be careful. Colombia, slow and steady. The good thing about Arizona, though, is the fact that they have not made their way over towards this B site. They're not being declarative in any single way with their defense. Just waiting for Colombia to make their definitive move. It might be here, might be now.
Oh, we got Young Chicken here on trying to get a pick and any information. So, ooh, there's gonna plan. Oh, but he was covered by 4 other people. Oh no, they're gonna try to initiate onto site right now. They do get 1 pick off the back side. We still have 1 and 2. Oh, but they don't know that yet. But he's gonna see 4 other people unguarded, but this is not gonna end any kills.
How the turns can quickly table here, folks. Hold on, wait a minute. The defense that we thought was unbreakable shows to be breakable. Comes down to the 2v4 now. It's Young Chicken trying to extend, trying to add insult to injury. Armando trying to create a little bit of an opening here. Sends in the utility. Not a whole lot to be found. Home trying to send the shots in straight through B long, but they are playing peekaboo, playing with their prey. Eventually, Armando will be able to find one. He'll be able to deny the ultimate out of the enemy Gecko as well, but just runs out of bullets. Young Chicken will cut him down. It comes down to Joe into the 1v3, just getting utiled out of his mind. Will find one, but Telekit calls the round, and CBC just continues to matriculate rounds their way.
Honestly, right there, he was getting crunched by both Garden, Elbow, and even behind him. But unfortunately, he ran out of bullets and could not get that guy that came from CT, which was a little scary, but they were not able to get that round, unfortunately.
And Moo, I think the thing that's just continuing to puzzle me is the fact that Arizona, no matter what they do, obviously not winning rounds, they don't have the economy in any of these rounds to justify any real presence.
Blinded.
It's a tall task ahead of them to even compete with the Vandals, compete with a team like CBC. But when you don't have any guns to even do so in the first place, I mean, you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Exactly. I did notice here that they did do a half buy. So hopefully they can get some picks, and then next round they'll be able to afford anything. We do got 4 players onto A. They are trying to look like do Viper
teleport.
execute with the smokes leading towards lamps. But Spike is left in the back, so I'm assuming they're trying to get picks here first and see any information onto any side. Hopefully they did execute onto a side for hopefully a win round.
They're just trying to find any information here. Columbia is. They send in the toxic screen to prevent any lingering deaths that could potentially happen, and it's a wise decision. But now, seeing a little bit of a definitive course for this Spike as they pick it up, they head over towards that B side. Epi will get the information on that one player, but now has to send the dimensional rift all the way over towards the opposite side of the map. Luckily, the teleporter will aid in that cause. Now getting all of the information in the hookah, and they are imminent. DJ on the other side of the coin. The lurk player will be able to find some value. Epi, though, still remains alive and is still really the only vestige over towards this site. Utility coming in from everywhere. But all of the kills seemingly going the way of Columbia as it comes down to a 4v2.
They do got spiked down, so this is very good on them, but all they have to play is time. If they put their cards right, they'll be able to win, but Yoru is left on Garden, and I'm sure they know Garden, and he's at Garden. I'm trying to see if he can get any pick, but he keeps getting smoked up and can't see anything. He's on the side of this man.
They just know exactly where he is, and this is an unwinnable spot at this point. You just kind of want to take your Vandal and run. You have the teleporter behind you, typically could just go through that. It's exactly what Epi will do, and that's probably the wise decision, all things considered, as they trace back into their own spawns and just let him keep the Vandal. That's the consolation prize at the end of the day, Moo.
It was a half buy, so they try to get any pick that they can. They got one there, but hopefully with this win, or this loss, they were able to buy fully here.
It looks like the first full buy. We are breaking some glass ceilings here, folks. Arizona's going to have the opportunity to get those Phantoms, get those Vandals, and really stand on their own, too. The side of Columbia, I mean, they have just had every single way that they possibly could have with Arizona to this point. And even if they were to lose this round, I mean, you take a look at the credit economy. They have more than enough, even in this round, to buy secondary Vandals. If they want to dual wield them, they very much can. It's just a question of what Arizona can do in a spot like this now that they have the opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet.
Noticing this Euro keeps going into TP. You know, he does have a getaway with his own personal TP. But, you know, at this point, CBC is kind of expecting it at this point. As you can see, the Gecko, like, looking at any moment for Yoru to pop out.
Just a sixth sense.
Oh, no. All right, they're going to execute. They got the smokes down. They're still lurking a little bit. Ooh, Ray's going in with her satchel. She has control of sight. We're getting met by Gecko here. There's a little fight happening in elbow. But, ooh, Cypher is still looking with it. But Ray does send her little bot to see if there's any information or anything there. Are they going to fight it? Oh, but they both go down.
Just scooping the gang round in the corner there. There's not a whole lot you can do when they are on the case. Now Fallen as well has the opportunity to come in from behind, spots the both out, centers for the first and the second. We'll get a little bit of an assist to come through as it is just Columbia's day, and it is their world. We are living in it.
Indeed. I've noticed that they're basically executing the same thing almost every round, but they're just losing their ones, which just sucks, and it's making their economy very, very tight. And honestly, they really need a win. This win is very much needed. Hopefully we get a 6-6 at halftime, but they're just
this goes here.
They need to play a little bit smarter.
I mean, you talk about the economy here. They need a win, so they are going to buy up. But Moo, do you feel like that's the right decision in a spot like this, where you're not even going to be able to afford more than light shields? So you're innately going to have a disadvantage. And when you continue to get the kills going your way, if you are Columbia, the disadvantage just gets even bigger.
Honestly, they need to like switch it up a little bit because they're playing in the same, land. But now they got Viper ult down.
Right
So it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to try to shimmy your way into Viper. Because Viper could be anywhere,
I mean, it's just insult to injury.
It is.
What we are seeing here, this is just a tall task, but maybe a task that they are ready for. They're feeling a little chippy here. They're gonna chip away at that life differential, and hold on, wait a minute, it comes down to the Viper. Luckily has the Viper's Pit in hand, but no, is not going to be able to get past Joe. Viper's Pit will fall in a miraculous round win here for Arizona. Keep themselves alive.
This is honestly very, very good for Arizona here. They got their pick. Hopefully they're able to buy something for the whole team. Ooh, it's a little bit tight. But honestly, if they keep doing what they did last time, then, it could get a pretty good round soon.
I mean, to make a 6-1 comeback, you got to go down 6-1. That's what it is at the end of the day, and they have the opportunity now with those guns in hand to once again make good. We did see the last time that they had the full buy. Feels like they're more effective with the half buy at this point, but we will see if that tail will continue. Still, again, for Colombia, it's just the same thing every single round, the slow B approach. You get that first pick on the board, and then you just ignite your way on in.
They honestly left Hookah to be on Colombia's side here, and Yoru is trying to see if he get any information or anything.
I've got your trail.
Off the wall. He tried to pull out the sky. All he uses towards backside. It's a little bit pressure on him, and Ray's gonna get on side. The plant is going down. Ray's thinking everything is fine. Okay. He actually shoots the sky. He's paranoid a little bit, but we see Mr. Joe here trying to see if he can get any control onto Elbow. They're backing a little. They're gonna be playing off of Garden here. They might be playing off of Gecko ult. They
trying
do
to rotate
have
in from Hookah. Joe, in the meantime, though, it's the lone player over towards his side, and he's going to be able to find two and swing the time ever so slightly. So hold on, wait a minute, Armando as well. It's going to send in the blind peek up. The last player that can really make a whole lot happen is just caught in between so much utility, and Armando is going to go ahead and try and stick the defuse. Folks, pros do not fake. Mr. Joe with another kill on the board. Defuse still continuing to come through, but will it be enough in time? No! An extra second is needed, and Armando is just not able to get it to go. Unfortunate scenes there, but Colombia will take it no matter how much of a nail-biting finish it is.
Honestly, that rotate from A to TP to Hookah from Arizona here was pretty good. The time, it was getting tighter and tighter. It just did not work in their favor. And they're honestly gonna have to half buy here again. It's like really, really tough. But and
feels like Groundhog Day.
Cutting through.
Yeah. All
Feels
right.
like every single day they wake up and they are still in economic pits. There's just not a whole lot you can do.
They are making a little bit. Oh, he does see the barrel. They got just get shot down by the Gecko. Honestly, they got their ones. They got their people.
Hey.
Just got it under stuff. And Musa just had a pistol, but he did not able to get that kill off the bird.
DJ Fallen lurking in the back line as well is going to prevent them from actually making the rotation that they need to make. Stellar, though, will shut that down. Now, Moo, as we head on into the 2v3, I mean, it's a tall task up ahead for any team, but it feels like with this momentum that Colombia has generated, for Arizona, even taller.
Honestly, Colombia here is playing off the elbow, which might not be the greatest. They have to watch both Hall and in front of them. And we have the Euro and Ash are putting a little bit of pressure by touching the spike. Hopefully, they're trying to get it quick, but time is running out a little bit. They do know where they're at, but the time. Okay. But they're still not able to defuse.
No, and it's going to be another L in the column here for Arizona. It's just going to put their economic standings in another tough spot here. They will finally have the opportunity to get a buy going. So once again, we're proving why I'm a caster, but not an economist. But still, I mean, you're looking at this team, and Moo, I mean, you've been saying it for a couple of rounds now. They need a win, and they need a definitive win here where they have the economic wherewithal to continue.
Yeah, honestly, they just gotta like switch it up. They did get around by lurking, you know, by playing as a team and lurking and crunching Arizona, or not Arizona, Columbia here. Ooh, he tried to.
Molly.
Oh, oh.
This is just a different round here out of Columbia. Hold on. We've gotten so used to them heading over towards the B side. I think we're both kind of left flabbergasted the fact that they're actually over towards A. And you might see that same thing out of Arizona as they're kind of left with their mouth agape, continuing to just get picked to pieces. Once again, Young Chicken continues to find the kills. Vito has been a top fragger in this essence, but not going to be able to get a whole lot going. Fallen is going to make him fall 6 feet under. It's going to be a flawless round there. So again, we talk about needing to respond when you have the opportunity to respond. Arizona is just going to fall ever so short in another round.
I've noticed that Colombia, like, they plant and then they try to see what Arizona does a little bit, but sometimes they get a little impatient. But they do it smart though. They play as a team to lurk up, and they get an Arizona player. And honestly, this is what's happening consistently, and it's really costing Arizona's economy here.
They will still force the buy, so nonetheless, they're trying to contend in this round that. Realistically, I mean, if you set yourself up and you kind of just say, hey, you know what? We can go and get the eco going. I mean, it's a tall task. That's what we come back to. It's just a tall task ahead. This is the round before the swap as well, so it's your opportunity to actually enact the 9-3 curse. Armando can open things up with a kill on the board, and hold on, wait a minute. Fallen taken out of the equation, and that's huge.
They are seemingly trying to get control over Showers. And you're right here trying to see if you can get any pick or information to see. They are going a little bit slowly. They do got
I've got your trail.
Retake if they do get to time. They pulled out the Skyle. This is where ooh, and he does get a pick off of this Astra who was originally trying to lurk around to see if he can get any information. It seems like it's gonna be a B plant. There's 3 up in gardens, trying to see if there are any, you know, they could get any pick, but they're looking at teleporters, and they're doing A. There's a lot of mind games happening here, so now we got Arizona going back to A.
Such a crafty round. Oh my goodness. CBC is just putting their mentals in the blender. You don't know where they are. They could practically be equipping the Halo Invisibility Cloak and you wouldn't see it any other different way. It's a really uncharacteristic round out of CBC because they have been such a declarative team to this point, but it's still going to work in a big way. You do get the decay coming through as Peacuff does get taken out of the equation. Now, the attempt to defuse with all these players still alive, the kills continue to matriculate the way of Arizona, and they are able to find their mental outside of the blender and make us at 9-3 before we enter the swap. And I mean, Moo, are you a believer in the curse?
You know, I was about to ask you that right now. You know, personally, for my Valorant game, the 3-night curse has not been in my favor.
Oh.
But, you know, honestly, I am rooting for Arizona to, you know, doing this 3-9 curse and see if they could, like, do something very crazy. Because they were able to escape that craziness of that TP from Colombia. You know, what other stuff can they pull out, you know? So, they're both buying a little bit.
What can they do? I mean, on the attacker side, they have the opportunity to kind of set the tone themselves. A game that feels like it's just been Colombia's tone to set. Okay, getting a little bit aggressive, is going to get some shots sent his way. No tags, though. So it will be able to maintain the life and gives that information that is needed for a little bit of a potential rotation over towards this B side. No, instead, it is going to be CBC maintaining their cool. How long will they be able to maintain it when you see all of these players coming straight through Hookah? They will be able to send up the wall to divide things out to make the push ever so much more difficult here. Now, it's just a matter of time until they hit the ignition.
No, honestly, Columbia does not have any flexibility. They deliver the Joe does get a pick off the elbow, and Galvine does get a pick off the side, and there's a lot of blinds happening here.
Gosh!
They're putting so much pressure on the CC, and they get the round win for Arizona here. Honestly, that was a very chaotic round. The one thing I gotta mention here is that Colombia does not have a sentinel, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult to like take down a site, you know, or hold down a site is what I mean. They do got 2 smokes, but those smokes eventually do go away, and that's like a perfect opportunity for team Arizona to get onto site.
I mean, I think through 13 rounds there, if we have seen anything out of Arizona, it was in that round. That was a different form, a different beast. And now can they maintain that momentum that they just created? That is the question. Again, the 9-3 curse. It is a story, a tale as old as time. We've seen it happen time and time again where the team that is down 9-3 eventually makes their way back on in. This is a building block being created now for Arizona. If you're CBC here, I mean, this is the first time that you've really had your back up against the wall. You don't have the economic credence to gain anything here, so you're going to just be looking for a couple of key picks, looking to destroy the economy ever so slightly for the side of Arizona. But Joe is getting all of that information, and you talk about the importance of having that anchor player. That is Joe in this role.
It is. Ooh, they seem to be heading the TP, but Spike is still in hookah. They're like trying to be a little iffy to initiate onto B side or to go with A. Maybe they're trying to, you know, play a little bit the minds of Colombia here.
It's a really interesting strategy.
It is. Colombia is still set onto B, a little iffy about rotating first A. Astra is looking to pick off of land. You know, Yoru and Astra are just trying to take this site, and they are going towards their safety in the hopes of flanking. But will Colombia expect it? It's just left 2 in Evo.
I mean, this is a very, very tough spot that Colombia finds themselves in. I mean, in the 2v4, you have classics to your name. Nothing in terms of the economy, nothing in your left pocket, nothing in your right pocket. You're only expecting around this corner you go to be cut down by Glaive. If you don't get cut down by Glaive, you get cut down by the rest of the assault that is over towards this site. Around the corner they go, just jumping straight through, no wherewithal whatsoever. Senko will find 1, Senko will find 2, but Stellar will eventually close the round in what was a pure inevitability. Now, I feel like things start to get interesting on this side of the coin, where you're going to see Colombia come out with the bye. They're going to have the opportunity to take the Vandals straight to them. For Arizona, I mean, you win those first 2 rounds, but you don't have the economy needed to get those Vandals. So Colombia now has the opportunity on defense to stand tall.
Honestly, Arizona here is going with half buys, doing a bonus round, and hoping, you know, they would get picks off of Colombia. You know, usually when you win a round, you would want to buy up, but they're very confident in their ability to win this round. Ooh, they do the side dog. And they do get it.
The aggression here from Colombia. Is Colombia on the attacker side still at this point? Because they are practically pushed up into the spawn of Arizona. Now the question becomes, can they make good on this positioning? Telecit has the blind come through, and he's just getting absolutely pelted with the bullets, but some way, somehow, he'll be able to find a kill to go his way, and the player personnel advantage once again will swing the way of Colombia. How is Telecit still alive as well? I promise you, if that was me in his boots, I'm dead.
You just gotta, you know, you gotta hope and pray that you don't get shot through that one. Unfortunately, you did not get shot through that wall. So, Senko is ready here to smoke. Hope maybe he does think that there's somebody lurking up Cubby, and there actually are 3 people. They're trying to see if they can get off information, and Astra is ready to smoke off U-Ball. And they're just playing very slow and calm. They do have shower control. Colombia does have shower control. Just trying to see if any information. There is still 2 on B, but Viper is rotating A. Maybe she feels something in her gut. I don't know. And they do hear some
Concealment!
17 seconds left. You've got to hit the left foot, right foot express. You've got to make your stake into the point they go. But Senko just has the opportunity to play things from the showers. The execute comes on in. The spike is not going to be able to go down with 5 seconds left on the board. The kills will continue to go the way that they need to go in order for Colombia to matriculate the round their way once again. 10-5 they go. They prove, at least in the early stretch, the 9-3 curse is not going to look too hot.
You know, honestly, this is going to be a very interesting round. You know, they both got about the same amount of guns here, and their shields. This goes literally in any direction, honestly. I can't really predict how this could go.
I mean, this very well could be the last stand, especially when you're looking at the economy here. If you are Arizona, feels like you have to make good on this round, otherwise you're not going to have the economy to stand, and you're going to give that match point up, and then at that point, you just have to play for overtime. So mathematically, Moo, this very well could be the round here and now.
Mm-hmm. It could go in many directions. We took that information. Oh, the guy just hit it off the sand. You know, that is one person down. This guy is 26 HP. She got to play a little bit slow, trying to get information with her Utah. They do have control over Hookah for Arizona. Trying to see if they get any more information. They got the smoke down, so it's going to be a little bit of a waiting game. They don't seem to be rotating off. They seem like they want to go be here.
I feel like that was a big pick to open the round, especially because you take Epi out of the equation. That is your top frag to this point. That's really the player that's been making the bread, making the money for your team. So now you have to just kind of send it at the wall and just hope and pray that something will stick. You find your way into the site if you are Arizona, but you still have to deal with 5 players. Spike will be planted. Using all that utility in the early stretch here, just going to give the opportunity for Columbia to have the opportunity to play their way into the site once they hit the rotation. Slow and steady, though, nonetheless. Glaive looking for his first opportunity to pop some heads, and Columbia's not presenting themselves quite yet. Taking the slow game once again, just waiting for the opportunity to send a little bit of opening util on in. That's going to be the first to ignite their way on into the site. Sengo will be able to exchange with Glaive. That's the lone player that was actively in on the site. Peekov as well. Sets some shots up into the hookah, will connect for the kill. Peekov just continuing to fry. 2 kills on the board. Last player standing is Armando, and he will not stand to tell the tale. Fallen will be able to get the defuse to go. No! Oh my goodness! 0.08 seconds!
Can someone buy me?
And the defuse doesn't come through!
Oh no! That is so unfortunate. Honestly, that was a waiting game to see who would swing first, you know? And that waiting game did not benefit Colombia here. It was just crazy, and honestly, they're gonna force them. They're gonna half fire. You know, maybe try to get any picks and pick up guns from the enemy team. But they're gonna try to take control over shower, hoping to get a pick.
Launching smoke.
Hopefully, a gun from that pick.
It just feels like a complete reversal of the script here, Moo. Between these two teams, you typically would see Arizona thrown into flux, but after they all die in that round, I mean, you have Arizona standing to tell the tale by literally 0.08 seconds. That is not even an eighth of a second. That is insane. They're going to have the opportunity now to cement themselves. Glaive with another kill on the board to try and open things up over towards the site side. Columbia still maintaining their stronghold, though.
They were stalling the plant in there, and that honestly did help because they were able to get a flank kill from that. If I could just get his ult up here to try to see where they're at. They seem to be rotating, Arizona seems to be rotating towards B. B is completely free, so they're gonna go ahead and plant here. And we do got only 2 members of Colombia still alive. They have to play with each other here. There is somebody in elbow with low HP, so maybe they could try to get a pick off of him and like see if they could do anything with that. They do got
Fallen.
That's...
What do they have in this spot? Around the corner, looking to gain the information, gets all the information that you could possibly ask for if you're trying to hold this site down the remainder of this round. Joe in the above, up in hookah as well. It's just going to be such a terrible, terrible thing to have to deal with here. Everything just going the way of Arizona. It's an inevitable BM from Glaive with the ultimate to cement the round in Arizona. Folks, don't call it a comeback quite yet. They're starting to get the formations of one at the very least.
We got Arizona here being able to fully buy, but Colombia, their economy is very, very tight. They've got to win this round to like hopefully see future successful rounds here. You know, everything is going completely well with Arizona. They do got 2 ults here. This Yoru is trying to see if they could take any information off of
Satchel
B.
out.
It seems like they want to go to B here, but Yoru is just trying to play a video game to see if he can get any picks. Oh, but Sky does release her ult out the shower. She see if they can find any information.
Found.
And everything's only one here.
This is a ratty play here from Colombia. They are in the spawn that they should not be in right now, Moo. This is ridiculous.
Ooh.
Young Chicken is going to find the first kill. Epi will fall. Again, just every single time you see Epi fall in the early round, that is such a huge kill for Colombia to be able to collect. They're just going to back themselves out of that, and now that just leaves Arizona in a flux point where they have no credence towards A, no credence towards B either. What do they do in a spot like this?
Honestly, they just gotta get information as much as they can. They do have an Astra ult, which could help them path a little bit towards vision here. But she's not gonna pull it. The spike is going to be kind of die. They do know that somebody's at elbow. Astra is trying to go for the kill, but he's gonna get the kill. And this Gecko was more successful. He does pick up a Vandal from this kill. But there is still 4 members of Colombia still alive, and they don't play well together as a team.
Glaive.
Ooh,
2 HP in a dream. The dream gets vanquished. Armando, last player standing for this attacker side, is going to just send the ultimate and hope and pray that he can get the detain, but the detain is not going to come through in time. You still have to hit the defense, but you have no credence, no sight lines into the site. Sengo will send the shots in, will be able to connect, and the defuse coming through for Colombia. They are right back in that driver's seat.
That was so unfortunate. This Gecko did. He ran out of ammo. That ammo he really needed, you know, to try to hopefully get that other Gecko off of that spike. He was smoked out, so he couldn't really see anything. But oh, that's so unfortunate. We see here that Colombia is forcing a little bit. They are able to buy about, you know, fully.
Who's next?
But you know, it's a little bit.
Seems an interesting point economically. If they both will be able to buy, but it's going to be a little bit tight. Epi is getting so much information with Dimensional Rift as well. And the second he wants to come out of it, he is going to have every little bit of opportunity to throw this round completely on its head if his team can stay alive. And that might be the point that swings the way of Colombia. Still have to get that spike diffused, as the spike will get planted, but it's looking ever so much more manageable. Sengo will continue to find kills into the lantern room. And Armando will be finished off, and that is the job well done for the side of Colombia. This is a flawless round to come out and put us on match point.
That was very difficult to do. You know, Yoru did get some information on the fact where Arizona could be, but that was so tricky. And you know, Colombia actually did need that round win, so their economy could be a little bit stable, you know. But now that's leading Arizona to be a little bit tight with their economy. Some buying, some saving for next round. They do got Astra ult still in their pocket. You know, they haven't really moved it yet.
I mean, the thing for Armando here is the fact that he's not able to buy in Moo what very well could be the last round. If you're looking at Colombia, 4 ultimates online, 1 round away from taking the first map was their pick. So we look over towards Sunset to see maybe a different Arizona. But I mean, everything in terms of indications pointing the way of Colombia taking the round, taking the map as well.
Gecko is using raids as a body shield. Just for, like,
at this point, something has to work. At this point, Mr. President, get down. That has to be the strategy. I mean, Armando does not have a whole lot really to work with either. He is your spike carrier, though, with the sheriff in hand. Oh, this is just, again, every single round that could have really gone wrong leading up to this point for Arizona.
Right there.
It's just not necessarily the prettiest look for them, and looks to get even uglier. P-Cuff with the first kill on the board. Now to the 4v5. You still do have at least 1 Vandal to work with here, though, if you are Arizona.
Honestly, I think what they were trying to do... Ooh! But this race was gonna pick off of this Gecko. But I was, oh, and then the Ray's gonna pull up. Oh, Mr. Jones gets the kill. He
retrieved
gets
the
2
spike.
kills.
Now we
You
need
know-
3 more. Joe, into the 1v3. We have seen magic happen before, Moo. Can we see it happen once more for Arizona? Keep their hopes and dreams alive. The one-man band over towards this A site. He goes, and there's only going to be one player to resist this, but he's going to open up the sky, and that is going to completely deny the plant. 5 seconds left to get it down, and if you are Joe, you just got to hope and pray, but those prayers were not going to be answered in any single way. It's Colombia taking our first map.
Oh no. That was interesting, honestly. They did have full ults, but they didn't need it. They got their skill. They had their skill to win that round. So
I mean, you look at it in the grand scope. You have 4 ultimates. You're the only team that actually has a bye. You have just momentum-wise completely taken it straight to Arizona. And it's the Hawks that are going to fly to an early lead within our series, 13-7 on their map. And now, Moo, the question becomes, hey, Arizona, with your back against the wall, what have you got on your map pick?
sorry, can you repeat that again? I'm
No
just,
worries.
I'm just in awe of what happened, you know?
I mean, I would be too, quite frankly.
That
You are fully
pressure?
justified. It is so much greatness that we have seen out of Colombia. Now for Arizona to keep their hopes alive, it's going to be a tall task up ahead. But Moo, we talk about it very briefly before we send it to a quick break. That Sunset map pick technically is Arizona's to play. So this is their last lease on life, but it could be their best.
This is honestly very spicy, you know? I want to see what Arizona pulls out of their sleeve for the Sunset game. And you know, one thing about Sunset is they got that mid, you know, so that lurks could go crazy in this, you know? So I'm super excited to see how they're going to do this.
Little sneak preview at what we have coming up after the break. We're going to go ahead and cut it to a quick break, though. Go ahead, get your drinks, get your snacks refilled as we come back to a 1-0 series lead for Colombia. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back on into the NJCAA. I knew I would mess that up at some point. Esports match of the week, folks. We have hit our, I guess we could say, fork in the road here because Colombia currently up by 1 in our best of 3. They very well could win it here, could win it now on the Sunset. But talk to me, Moo. We were in the green room. We were talking a little bit about it. This map could very well go the way of Arizona if a few key things are met.
Honestly, Arizona has to, I want to see how Arizona plays because, you can do so much here with Sunset. Like, there's a lot of like lurking opportunities. There's a lot of like different ways you can get on site and to successfully win a round. So I really want to see how Arizona will execute this, this game,
Yeah.
So it's just like super exciting, and I don't know, because Colombia seemed like they really played well as a team in that last game unbind. And Arizona, they had a little bit of trouble, trying to like get their econ stable,
Yeah.
But honestly, I really want to see what Arizona cooks up here and how they will do it, how they would officially win rounds and everything.
I mean, as we jump on in with the player selection screen, I mean, this is Arizona's map, right? On paper, they're coming into this, and we talked about it a little bit. I mean, there was a little bit of a question mark for Colombia when they entered that defensive side, not because Colombia was bad, but because Arizona started looking really, really good on the attacker side. So when you're looking at this attacker side for Arizona that they're kicking things off on, I mean, this could very well be their better map. This could very well be their better side. And when we talk about momentum, it's all about what you can do to set yourself up for success. If Arizona sets themselves up for success, especially in the economic side, as you outlined, I mean, this could be a different game.
Honestly, this is very surprising. I never really see a KJ play Sunset. I usually it's the Cyphers because Cyphers are really good at holding down a site, but a KJ, this is gonna be interesting, very, very interesting. I wonder what they're gonna honestly cook here. They are gonna be attacking.
That's all you really need at the end of the day, right? You got your turret. Every
dream.
couple of rounds, you have your lockdown, which I mean, that's probably one of the best lockdown ultimates in the game, but it's also an ultimate. So, yeah, it's an interesting choice here out of Arizona, as you outlined.
It could be like a little bit awkward with that KJ, honestly, because it's not gonna fully cover site and like clear the other connectors to site. So this is gonna be a super duper interesting. They do have it maybe like per flank, maybe? I'm not quite sure. Maybe they got some Molly's lineups up their sleeve. I'm not really quite sure. But we're about to see how they're gonna play this KJ. I'm super invested in this.
And when we take a look at the map, I mean, the defensive aggression from Arizona's side of things, from Colombia's side of things is absolutely ridiculous. And it's actually going to work for a kill for Peacuff. But unfortunately, they have nobody set up over towards that A side, so the spike will go down in the after effect of that. Still player personnel disadvantage nonetheless. Into the 4v5 we go.
Honestly, they did do a good thing of taking control over mid, just to get a little bit to their CT, and you do get 2 picks off of that, leaving both players to be left in home, but they did not win that, unfortunately, and they got the kill. CBC got the kill.
That comes down to Armando and how much can you do when they are tracing you with every single bullet, every single piece of utility. Might have been a little bit excessive there, quite frankly, but you know what? You got to get the job done when you've got to get the job done. CBC, once again, will be jumping out to that early lead. We'll have the opportunity to get the buys cooking here. And now, again, we talked about Arizona here. When it comes to setting the momentum, obviously losing the pistol round is not the best spot to find yourself in, where you're likely to lose this next round. But talk to me a little bit about what that could happen in the third round when you start to get that economic credit that they don't necessarily have the best record of getting.
Well, no, this is going to be a little bit difficult here for Arizona to try to get onto site, especially they seem to be trying to take mid control. Actually, taking mid control on Sunset is a very big thing to have a like a chance to win a round. They're trying to take a little bit control over market. Colombia does get a pick off of this KJ. They're backing off a little bit, just trying to give it a little shimmy room. But Arizona does have a little bit of control off the site. There is a little bit of Cypher util on there.
Oh, just everything going wrong in terms of the kill department. It's such good map positioning here out of Arizona to find their way through mid and then parlay that over towards the side. But you're going to have some heroics come through out of Glaive on the Neon, and he's going to slide through straight into his own casket. Delicate will get the defuse to go. So all things considered, I mean, a round that we probably would expect out of Colombia here. Flawless nonetheless, though, so you're not necessarily doing the economic damage that you might want to do if you are Arizona. But if you are Arizona, I mean, the consolation prize is you go into round number 3 and you get those nice Vandals and Phantoms cooking.
One thing I want to point out too is this recent Valorant update, they did change sites a little bit, especially on B site. They added like new grooves to hide on and to like run towards and to plant into, like that little like cubby in the mid, that was never there. So and then especially the Cypher setups have to change a little bit, you know, because it is completely different map change. But it seems like Arizona here is gonna try to go for an A push.
Yeah, and again, typically, at least I guess when I play the game, I'm heading straight into the B corridor and probably dying. But nonetheless, I mean, you see a lot more contention over towards the B side, so an interesting approach here for Arizona as they head on over towards the A side, not able to collect the early kills that you might need. But it's going to be stellar to swing things right back into a favorable spot. Into the 3v3 they go. Still not a site credence being granted their way. But you're going to have to hit the rotation very quickly here if you are Colombia, because Young Chicken will beat a 1v3.
He's trying to stall a little bit of time with his utility. Oh, but his Omen does get seen by Ali and does get picked off. His suspicions are going a little bit off of Hall. He does throw some util towards Hall. Oh, but Stellar up with the lurk. And getting that Cypher pick. Ooh, this is much needed for them. And this leads to a 2v2. Though their Breach is a little falling a little behind. Bruno shipping his way through market, trying to catch up to this KJ. But they're going to get the plant down. I really want to see how they hold down this site. You know, are they gonna play towards a little back? Are they gonna play on? Seems to be they're gonna be playing a little. They're gonna play cross actually. So someone can lurk up on Boba. I mean, what do you think?
This is such a good play here from the Arizona players. I mean, the way that they got out of there and they just immediately booked it over towards B. Now they have the potential crossfire setup. Young Chicken is checking every single corner. That's exactly what you have to do, but you cannot check through walls. Matto is just going to send in the utility completely, sending them off kilter and off of the map. Matto will be able to solidify the first round for Arizona on the attacker side. And I mean, that's something that we very much did need to see out of Arizona, because now they're going to have the opportunity to use those credits to continue that momentum.
Honestly, they executed that perfectly. They used their util not only to like stall time, but to like set like kills for each other, you know? This Breach was like, you know, distracting them a little bit from market so this KJ could swing and, you know, throw some shots, but this Breach got the one. Got the win.
Here we go. The fourth round here. What will happen? It feels like it could be such a huge round if Arizona can potentially pick it up, get that momentum started. But unfortunately for them, I mean, you're going to lose your Neon in the early stretch. That's a lot in terms of your entry fragger being taken out of the equation. It's going to make your job a lot harder here, as you don't have a whole lot of mobility to work with outside of the Neon. They do have that middle credence being granted, but you look at every single off angle, and it's just going to be Colombia. Here.
Ooh, this Breach just gets spot off from the Omen. They're trying to get. They seem to be trying to get a pick off of honestly mid, maybe a little bit on Beach, just trying to get some information. Things are a little too quiet. They're trying to see if they can get any pick here. You know, they're maybe a little bit paranoid, but it seems like Spike is starting to rotate towards a B. Does Cypher, you know, is playing off of his intel? He is lurking up a little bit from Boba. Smoke is starting to go down. They're having their suspicions and they're rotating.
I love this play off Colombia. Colombia just waiting for them to make the first mistake. I mean, they've already made the first mistake. The Neon overextending and just getting completely blown to smithereens is the first mistake. But now Colombia wants them to make the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth and get them to round. Colombia is just showing the resilience of a tiger by not playing and pressing up these angles. They're just going to let the time tick away. I mean, there's only 10 seconds here to make a play. You have no sight credence whatsoever. You've got to get the plant down here, and now if you are Madu, this is your last chance. He will just in the nick of time get it down. Comes down to the 2v3, but now you turn every single corner. You have Scoob and the gang once again approaching their way on into the site. Now you have all of the credence here if you are Colombia to knot this one up.
They do got 2 arrows, and maybe they'll play for it, but the Silva is very low, and this Breach breach gets picked off from behind. And, you know, they honestly played that. That was crazy, honestly. I'm lost in words. They were like going mid and then going A and then going B and then like, nah, let's go back to A. But
a little indecisive there out of Arizona. I mean, it's one of those instances where you look at the grand scope of this series, right? And it doesn't feel like Arizona has truly had their footing throughout a grand majority of it. So you're starting to see that kind of linger on into this second map that we did outline. Is their map, by the way. And when you get that mental kind of checked, you gotta find a way to make you through it, I guess is the best way to really say it. But when you don't have the economy, you don't have a whole lot going your way, those early kills just not seeming to go their way, not even if they can buy them. I mean, Moo, it's a tall task for any team.
It is. I mean, I've noticed that this Neon is trying to use their... Ooh, this Race is gonna pick through the smoke of this Nova. Ooh, and this Neon is trying to go up, and this Race trying to leave, but she can't. Ooh, but the Omen does get the two picks, or a pick off. And,
good swing back.
They're just trying to take control off of B main here. They did successfully take control, and is leaving them to a 4v2.
This is just, again, such a tough and almost unwinnable spot, I would like to say. Don't want to cast or curse anything, though, to be very fair. But, I mean, you're in the 4v2. You're in an eco round. You have the spike in your hand. That's just about the greatest thing that you have going your way if you're Arizona here. They're trying to zone them out with this utility as well. It's just a matter of time until it gets planted. Young Chicken, just waiting for them to make that first mistake.
They do got still 2 ults to like maybe hopefully win them this round, but this is gonna be a little bit difficult with there's 4 other people here. Ooh, but this Breach just gets the pick off of the Omen. Oh, but they still cannot get the round. You know, honestly, this is very interesting, and I'm personally learning like new strats. Is like there was, I don't know if you noticed, but that there was a one-way Omen smoke off of B main, and that's completely new. Again, like this map has been reworked. And so, like, for this team, like, for, just to figure out any type of ways to, like, get the higher ground of fixing new things, it's interesting. I mean, What do you think about this new, like, map thing,
I mean,
you know?
when you shift the map around, the geometry itself can be a nice thing to take advantage of.
Yeah.
Especially if you're one of the first teams to figure it out and you're having those one-way smokes that the other team thinks, hey, what are we doing here? That should not exist. Now heading into this next round, I mean, you talk about the economy ad nauseum. The attacker side, once again, Arizona just does not have the economic wherewithal. But this is a different kind of play out of them, as they're actually going to play the right move and do a light buy here, trying to play into the next round. Fortunately for them, though, there's just not a whole lot of kills going their way in this round. To be expected, though, when you are at such a disadvantage. Young Chicken as well, straight through the smoke to add insult to injury. Stellar will fall eventually after the first kill, and Epi will follow suit. 5 rounds on the board for Colombia, just 1 for Arizona.
Honestly, Colombia is defending pretty well here. I'm telling you, like, I've noticed, ooh, and a timeout. Oh.
This is probably a good move here because, I mean, when you look at the economics, right? You see this as really the first opportunity here for Arizona in a while where they're going to have the full buy. And they have the opportunity, if they can really center themselves in this next round, to start to create a little bit of momentum. And it's all about momentum when it's at the end of the day, Moo.
Honestly, I think I'm noticing is they're really relying on their Neon to help them entry, but that breach on Colombia is making it a little bit difficult to like try to get like an entry or even close to site, because honestly this Neon is getting a little bit picked off before they even go on site, and it's leaving KJ and Brim to be left on their own. And it's just like a little bit difficult, you know, and especially with their econ, they have to win this round to like stable their econ a little bit.
We're just waiting for Arizona to stabilize themselves. And I think pointing out the Neon as well. I mean, the entry role is typically one that's known for a lot of deaths, but that's kind of the strategy at the end of the day, right? They're trying to get that early information. The problem becomes when you go through 6 rounds and you're 0-6, right? You have to see Glaive stand up and get a couple of kills. And again, we've seen some nice Neon movement. If he can chain that together, get a couple of kills, open things up for his team, and really set them up for success, even if he is dying at the end of the day. I mean, he is doing his job when all is said and done. It just feels like it could all very well start with Glaive on the Neon.
Honestly, well, okay, they're taking control over a little bit on this orb. they are grabbing orb to see if they could, try to bait out anybody.
There.
But they're being patient, which is very, very good here.
Yeah,
But
I mean, the thing for Colombia is just the fact that they are so patient, as you outlined. This
Yeah.
is a team that, hey, you're going to have to make the first mistake if you're playing them on defense, and that's just how it's going to have to go. They are playing every single angle to pure perfection, it feels like. But now, igniting their way on into the scene comes Arizona.
It seems like they're trying to get a little bit of information in mid. Oh, but Breach does ult, and this Omen tries to leave as fast as he can. This Neon is going for
You should
him.
run.
He's hungry. Oh, okay, here we go. KJ Utah. Let's see. They could try to maybe stick a little bit, but this is gonna be a little bit difficult.
Not ready yet.
It's going to push them off of the site for the time being. It's going to give maybe an opportunity to get the plant a little bit slow, if anything, from Arizona here. They're not going to get the plant off immediately. They will eventually get it, so I eat my words ever so slightly. Now Glaive trying to find his first kill on the board, but only HP is just trying to keep himself alive and just trying to push them back as much as possible. But Telecate has the geometric formation to find the kill. Go back and forth, though, in the feed, checkerboarding things down, and it comes down to Matu in the 1v2, and the flank comes through in the back line. Sengo goes, and Sengo will make work. Defuse coming through as well. And I mean, it's a good start there in that round out of Arizona, but it's just the finishes that we're talking about.
Yeah, usually when you KJ ult, you want to also make sure that obviously site is clear, but you also want to make sure the path to site is also further back, And so this KJ ult, plus the radius of it, it's just
This goes
it didn't really cover Ali and CT that very well, and it made it easier for Arizona to get on site, but not Arizona, Colombia, my apologies. But it was very interesting. I was very curious about that, but it seems like they're going to be going towards B here, and Cypher is left alone, but, maybe you took a cook up a bit. What do you think?
I mean, you have the camera, you're going to get that early information, maybe hearing them from a mile away. And then the attacker side, I mean, Arizona just once again, you already see it with Glaive, just the Bucky in hand, and the Bucky in a dream. That dream is not looking too hot. Unless he can make some magic happen. He gets a little bit pissed, though, and hold on, wait a minute. Glaive coming in, trying to create some space, is going to do enough for his team, but can he find a kill to go his way? Utility coming through as well from the Sova. Telecate just trying to send some shots in, trying to stagger them. Will stagger the plant for the time being. Now trying to find their way on into the site with a 5v5 looming.
This is honestly very interesting. They got all these players of Colombia are in Boba, trying to take pick off of this Neon. They do ult onto site, pushing Neon a bit off just a bit concussed. He's getting a lot of pressure. Ooh, this is actually very interesting. There is one on the market trying to add a little bit of pressure. This might be a game of... No, he gets the pick off of the Sova. There is somebody on the main. Ooh, but it is getting pushed out with Utah and making it a successful round for Colombia. That Utah work, honestly, perfection. That was very, very good.
I think highlighting their utility is a great move there because honestly, Colombia, I don't think we've honestly highlighted it enough, if anything, because their gunny is so strong. Because the locations, because the angles, because the strategy. No, above all else, the utility has been key. The way that they set their smokes, the way that they are able to just seamlessly find their way into sites, just off the back of utility alone. I mean, Moo, that's a really good point to make. And it just continues to be a problem for Arizona as they can easily get suffocated out by utility. But now we talk about the round stakes here. Once again, another opportunity with the Vandals and the Phantoms. What do they got?
Honestly, they are, still paying patient. They're trying to see, Arizona's trying to see if they could get any pick here. Maybe information with the, but the bot didn't pick up anything. But they're still, suspicious. Oh, they do hear the drone. They do see 3 people on there. And the Neon is, that's going for it. Even though she's blinded, she's still going for it. She does not care. I wish I had this duelist on my team.
Yeah, the cojones out of Glaive. It might not be warranted to this point, but you gotta tip it at the very least. It is gonna push them back ever so slightly, so you are creating that space that you need to potentially find your way into the site. Now the utility usage out of Arizona is quite notable. Glaive slides on in, finds the first kill, enters the feed for the first time, and now your entry fragger is starting to frag. 2 kills on the board for Glaive, completely opening things up.
You know, honestly, those previous rounds, they were just warning shots. He's actually locked in now. He is locked in. He said no more playing around. They do got a little bit of control off the mid, but it's putting a little bit pressure on Colombia. You know, they're a little scared who's gonna play. Ooh, this KJ does get a pick, which is actually very beneficial for Arizona here.
Now, just trying to make their way on in. The time is the additional factor here. Makes it a 2v4. Could potentially be counted as a 2v5, but hold on. Peacuff is starting to chip away at the odds ever so slightly, but not before Armando comes around the corner, lines them both up for 2, and sends them packing. Special delivery straight down under. Now, Arizona. I mean, we talked about the importance of that round very briefly. You have the Phantoms, you have the Vandals, and now you have a little bit of footing.
You know, honestly, this is what's needed for Arizona. I love how they plant. They're like very like patient about it. You know, they wait for Colombia to come to them. You know, like they own the site. You know, and they really did own it here. And you know, they did get their ones. You know, that KJ off of mid did really help them, and we're gonna see Blade here trying to take control over B main.
I actually really like this. After it A works, you might as well try and see if you have a little bit of credence over towards that B side, but unfortunately Stellar down mid is going to get chipped away. That's going to give a lot of information for the side of Colombia to start that rotation, and the pincer could potentially be in the cards here as you have so much middle control immediately being granted your way. Still though, Arizona will find their way on the spike. The spike will be getting planted as well. Glaive though, taken out of the equation, brings it to another unfavorable player personnel disadvantage for Arizona.
They're always trying to see if they could get anybody on the site, but it seems like I think they've noticed that they're all in B main, and they do got Sova ult, so maybe they're gonna try to play off the Sova ult here. Ooh, but see, this box was never here, so I want to see how they played. Ooh, they're gonna pull out the Sova ult.
Oh my goodness, Armando is keeping the hopes and dreams alive. CBC Telecom has to respond, has to go big. Sengo trying to go in for the defuse. Epi, the last player around that corner to make something happen. Now Armando trying to respond, but it's not going to be responded to in time, unfortunately. Sengo will be able to cut him down even after the defuse comes through. And again, Colombia is able to recollect. So in terms of setting the momentum, you see Arizona get the concepts of the plan, but the plan never fully gets concepted through.
You know, honestly, Armando did pop off on that round. That was some crazy Sova util, but unfortunately it just didn't work in winning the round. But, you know, it seems like they're going to be a saving here, honestly, for their next round, because their econ is a little bit tight.
Yeah, and again, especially with this being the second to last round on this side for them on the attacker side. I mean, things just not necessarily going as well as they might want it to. Still, though, slow and steady. We're towards that blue side. Just try to gain any information possible.
Neon is trying to see information. Ooh, but she gets picked off. Ooh, and then KJ running a little back, scared. Oh, but it's Omen. Ooh, they're trying to take control. Okay, I see here. Colombia is trying to take a little bit of control off of mid, but Arizona is rotating towards B.
Ooh, good play out of Arizona as well, but no, Epi gets shut down. The Hunter is here, and he is here to play. Telekit takes him out. And that completely thwarts things. Now you have players in your back lines, you have players in your front lines. It is all-out disaster for Arizona.
Ooh, this is like honestly so much pressure because Colombia is all of them are still alive, and honestly, damn, this is interesting. Wait, are we gonna go to another 3-9 curse?
I mean, see, the last time we went to a 9-3 curse, it didn't necessarily play off, but you know, the odds of the second time potentially playing, I mean, it's a 50-50 at the end of the day. Well, we will have to see, but nonetheless, I mean, they as you outlined, they did save during that round, so they will have the Vandals to contend. It's a 5-way Vandal stack here for the side of Arizona, and in their last attacker side round, Boo, what have they got?
Honestly, it seems like they're gonna be trying to like push towards A, but one thing I did notice is that Colombia is very good at taking control of this orb, but they are putting a little bit of pressure. Ooh, but Arizona does get a pick on this Omen, but they're still backing off. They're not taking that opportunity, which I find very, very interesting. There is somebody in mid trying to get a pick, but does he get? Oh, he doesn't. Oh, but he does. Oh no, putting a little bit more pressure.
Just barely able to get out of that with his life, and he will be very thankful in that essence. Now Glaive finding his way onto the site, just trying to, again, be that entry role, create a little bit of space for his team. Done enough there. But will he be able to get enough in terms of the kills to go? Celeste will eventually find one additionally to swing the way of Columbia. Makes it an even stack 4v4 as the spike is planted, and Telecant sends shots straight through the box. Folks, if my shot's connected like that, I might not be casting. I might be a pro.
There is somebody on Columbia lurking up in the hopes. And again, they don't have a Senti. So, but he does get picked off, and Armando is left with his
1v3
gun and arrow.
1v3, 1v2.
Oh, he has the pick! But where's the other enemy? He doesn't know.
Standing
Wait,
ahead.
he does have his suspicions. He does throw an arrow towards Hall, and he finds him. All is a waiting game, and a ring around the rosies is what it seems to be like. Ooh.
Armando, ring around the Rosie, whose pockets will be posy as Celeste reduces him to ashes. Defuse goes through the nick of time. Moo, what did we just see?
Bro, this Cypher, he broke Armando's ankles, basically. He got
Armando had the walls. He could see him every step of the way.
He just had to hold 3 more seconds for that round. That was such unfortunate, but, you know, his poor ankles got broken. And now we lead to a 10-2.
I think the interesting thing that you highlighted at the start of the round, right? At the start of the match, excuse me, is the fact that the defense now doesn't have a Cypher, and that's such an important agent to have selected because you can gain so much information on a defensive round. You can almost lock down mid in and of itself. If you're playing on A, you're playing on B, because you can set your cameras down mid and you can have all of that information as well. So it might be an informational gap here for Arizona on the defensive side now.
It seems like they're trying to take a little bit of control of tiles, but this omen is creeping up. Oh, this box is new. Hold up. Wait, this could be a little rat little cubby, you know? But, you know, they seem to be like lurking up maybe towards A, you know? Arizona does have their suspicions. Maybe it's an A push because they didn't get information off of B. They are playing very, very slow. They have some notice. Ooh. I mean, what do you think is gonna happen?
I mean, Arizona is just wanting to let them make that first mistake, but not playing close enough up is going to give the opportunity for the Omen to lay the smokes and is going to give the site credence the way of Columbia. They now have an opportunity in this 5v5 to solidify themselves as well. You do have players from Arizona lurking in the backline, so hold on, wait a minute. If you are the Omen, you have to be careful. Sengo will at least be able to find one. The information now comes through into the 3v4 we go, but Armando has come alive. Manu as well providing the support. Young Chicken is going to have to go big, but it comes down to Armando in the 1v2, and it's just not going to be enough as Telecant taps into his god form. Sets things up for success. And now, Moo, let's talk about where we're at in the game right now, right? You're going to have the bye here if you are Columbia, and you very well could make it match point. If you are Arizona, I mean, what can you do?
Honestly, personally, I would, you know, force here. And that's what it seems like they're doing. They are, Arizona here is forcing in the hopes that they would win this round, and they need to win this round to, you know, see future rounds. It seems like Columbia is going to be pushing up towards the main here. But again, the KJ Utah, like, it's a little tricky to hold site down, but there is 3 people there, so I really wonder how they'll execute this.
Side we go. Epi just trying to keep his hopes and dreams alive, but this man is caught in between stuns, caught in between nades. Some way, somehow, we'll find a kill in the mayhem and hold on. Wait a minute. Spike going down over towards the side, but Epi is still alive, and he is absolutely piecing them apart in the site to give player personnel advantage the way of Arizona. Glaive now trying to get active, heading on into the site, using a little bit of that neon ultimate utility, but Young Chicken and Telecant are still inevitable. Madu on the other side of the coin, providing the support. Madu and Epi, the 2 players that you would want in a spot like this. They have to go big. Madu is just not able to get the shots to land, and Sengo sends us to what very well could be our last round between these 2 teams.
That is honestly very unfortunate. They just needed 1 more player to kill and to secure the round. They really needed that. They're going to be forcing here because obviously there's no other option. But again, it's just like
Oof.
with that KJ util not being able to secure the site. Honestly, it literally says "Get on me" on B side. So it's just like I really just want to know why they chose KJ. I really wonder what they expected, but it seems like they're gonna be going for a K site here.
Oh, Glaive. His information just immediately gets given away. At that point, that's like giving your IP up. Over towards this A side they go. Very quick and very assertive is Columbia. They send in that owl drone as well. Glaive is quickly going to be detected. The recon bolt as well will reveal his location. Now, Glaive, you have to dive, you have to duck, you have to dodge. What feels like an inevitability gets pieced apart by ECUV. Absolutely frying to open things up on the site.
You know, they are actually switching up a little bit here. You know, they're really relying on their guns. Ooh, but we got Stellar here, the Lurk and the Omen. But they noticed that they're there. Okay, now they're just trying to see. Look, all four of them are there, and then they get
Sentry!
killed.
Oh my
no.
goodness! The Lurk play gets shut down. The pincer that was hoping to be will not. Armando falls as well. Last player standing is Manu. He has done some great things, but just will not be able to do enough in an unwinnable spot. 13-2 as Columbia Basin College 2-0s Arizona Western.
Oh my goodness, that was that was crazy. Honestly, like I had hopes for Arizona here.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it was probably their best bet, but unfortunately for them, I mean, it goes down as their worst map today, as it was their pick. Just an unfortunate scene there for Arizona. A lot that you can go back to the drawing board with. I think a lot of it does come down to just how you play with your entry role, and you kind of set yourself up for success from that point forward. But I mean, they had their moments of brilliance too. So all hats off to both of these teams here today, Mo.
indeed. I mean, they played. One thing I would say, Arizona just needed to, that econ. That was it was them versus their econ.
Yep.
And so
That's the real enemy there at the end of the day.
yeah, it was them versus their econ. Honestly, I love the confidence of how they just kept buying and buying, but it didn't work in their favor. I think they just needed to be a little bit more patient with how to execute things well instead of just going straight in.
Yeah. No, just a little bit more forethought in the end of the day could do wonders for Arizona, but they're still with 2 wins on the board. Now 2 losses on the board for Columbia. They improved to a 3-1 total, which again, we talked about it. They were on a 2-win hot streak. Now they're on a 3-win hot streak. I mean, this team looks really, really good.
Honestly, they're feeling themselves. They like, we lost that one, we're gonna win the rest of them,
We've done it before. We're gonna do it about a couple more times.
Indeed, they're on a streak. Honestly, ooh, this is interesting. Honestly, because like Arizona, I really just wanted to know what their expectation, what their initial plan was for Sunset, because it was their pick. So it was just like oof, but Colombia took advantage of them defending and did it really, really well.
Yeah, and again, the way that Columbia played those defenses, you outlined that. I think it's just such a special way to play things, because when we were talking about this team on Bind, right, we were the patented aggression, the way that they were just willing to take every single chow and were winning off of Gunny alone, the way that they were able to kind of fall back a little bit, get a little bit more recluse, say, hey, you know what? We're on the defense. So technically, Arizona, you got to come and fight us here if you want this site. So come on in and we'll pick you apart that way. It shows a lot of different dimension for Columbia. And this is a team, again, that we're looking at in the future. I think the interesting thing as well, and maybe I'm just looking into this a little bit too much, but for Arizona Western, I mean, I'm a big numbers guy. You're checkerboarding things out in terms of your win-loss as well. I didn't want to say it heading into this, but mathematically speaking, based on precedence, it was their game to lose. So it's just a little interesting little tidbit there. But nonetheless, I mean, Columbia looking really, really hot. Hats off to Arizona Western as well as we get everybody ready. We're going to have an interview coming up in a matter of moments here as we talk through the rest of how this game went. And talk to me a little bit about this game, Moo. On the grand scale, let's come on out and we'll talk about it as a whole. What is the thing that stood out most to you within Columbia's play style?
One thing, okay. I wish however they play were in my comp games, honestly, because they played as a team. Like, honestly, I I'm so like I wish I had that much expertise to play as a team like they did. I really want to hear their comms too because like they were swinging off each other. They were getting their picks, and not only they were doing that, but they were you know they had their kills, and additionally their util usage was very very well. They executed the things very well. Like they would get pushed back off the sites, is what I noticed, but they had their util that they relied on super 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 well, and it really got them these wins, these big wins. So it's just again, it was crazy, honestly.
Yeah. No,
It
I
was
like the fact that you outlined the communication there because we were talking about everything from the gunplay, from the way that they position themselves on the map, from the utility usage, but it all comes down to the communication at the end of the day. And I 100% agree. If I had teammates like that in competitive, I think I might be a pro VCT player at this point. Quite frankly, though, at the end of the day, I mean, it does just come down to communication. And on the other side of the coin, you could argue, obviously, we didn't have the communication readily available to us audibly. But Arizona Western, it looked like they had those instances where maybe the neon was extending a little bit too much, or maybe
Yes.
they weren't rotating in to contend with a very obvious attacker side site initiation. And it just obviously did not necessarily click on the communication side of things. And at the end of the day, again, communication is the key. It is the name. It is the game. So going back to that drawing board, there's a lot of things that they can take. And again, this is a team that looks very, very promising when all is said and done. But one of the things that matters most is that communication. And shoring up on that very easily could be the way to get them back into the mix of this, and also just managing the economy better. Just a little bit better.
Yeah, honestly, I think if Arizona was just a little bit more patient and executed things more better, I think there would have been more rounds to win. And honestly, it's just I just again, what literally at the back of my mind, and not only is that neon with that Bucky, that's all I have engraved in my mind is that neon and Bucky on Arizona team. But it's just, like I think they just needed to play more like as a team
Yeah.
together, because again, Colombia super duper well. They played together very, very well. They got each other's picks. They took a site very, very well. They did some lurking, which did, obviously get them some rounds. It's just I don't know. They're just I want to be a part of this team. Not gonna lie, I want to win some games.
Moo
I
doesn't want to cast anymore. Moo wants to get out there and play. I mean, let her spot in, folks. This could be really, really fun. I mean, when we're talking about it at the end of the day, it is very, very nice to see out of Colombia. And I do believe that we are just about ready to get our interview on in with Telekit. In a matter of moments here, he should be joining the voice channel to talk to us a little bit about how Colombia played that thing through. And again, for Arizona Western, it's hats off to them, brought a lot of really fun rounds out of them, a lot that they can potentially be able to do in the future. But nonetheless, it's Columbia Basin College with the big 2-0 dub to improve to 3-1.
Honestly, I'm just in awe. What do I gotta say? Honestly, I'm lost in words.
Well, let's go ahead and actually hear what Telekit has to say,
Yeah.
because I do believe that we are ready. I called it a little bit quickly there, but I'm just so excited to talk to you, Telekit. I mean, you guys went out there and you absolutely balled today, or I guess shot today. I mean, 2-0 victory. How you feeling, man?
Feeling good. Everyone was locked in, doing their role. Everyone landed their shots, listen to each other.
The shots,
Great stuff.
yes.
And I think one of the only laps that we really saw out of you guys, I mean, it was consistent on Bind. It was consistent on Sunset. You started having a little bit of a exchange with Arizona Western when they hopped on the attacker side. How were you guys able to kind of lock it in on the defensive side and finish out that game?
We just make sure that everyone was playing their roles, and if someone rotated, we made sure that spot got covered up and nothing was like left open for us to get flanked.
That's the way to play it. That's the way to play it. Now, Moo, gonna leave it. Floor is yours. Ask some questions.
Honestly, one thing I really want to ask, what did the comms look like? Because I am just super in awe about the comms. Because you guys did play super, super well as a team. You guys took each other as ones, So what would the comms look like?
The comms were very calm. They weren't too crazy. Everyone was calming their parts. Oh, not over calming, not saying like useless intel.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Is there anything else you want to say, Quinn? Ask?
I mean,
no, I don't have any questions.
Well, it was very, very nice talking with you, Telekit. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth, and we are excited to see what this team can do in the future.
All right, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Good luck on your future games.
All right, thank you.
Good stuff out of Telekit, one of those players that was absolutely popping off across the board. Columbia comes out to play today, wins it 2-0 as we close our match of the week for Valorant within the NJCAA. And Moo, I'm going to leave it to you. What are your last words?
Where is that application to join the Valorant team for Colombia? I want to know.
Oh my goodness.
Like literally, oh my god, new favorite college team, Columbia. Not to be biased or anything, but I just discovered a new team here. It was so good. Like honestly, personally, I learned new things to play because I consistently play Valorant. So like how it was such a short frame too of like figuring out like new like util usage because again Sunset was like they changed it, you know.
Yep.
So it was just like I personally taken some notes, you know. I got it right here of what to do, you know. So you know, anything you want to say about these two teams?
Well, folks, I mean, Columbia, you have a new fan here, and Moo, want to give a very special shout out to Moo as well for the first cast in your casting career. Shout out to you. It was fantastic getting to take the booth with you and have that opportunity. But folks, that's going to do it for our broadcast here today. Of course, join us in the future for more NJCAA esports matches of the week. We'll see ya.
We got to get a mindset. We got to get an attitude about us. Everybody can do it. Hey, you ain't got to be super talented to play the way we play. It's an attitude. My attitude is, this is business. There's a point where you wanted more. There's a point when you wanted more. If you want it, you can go get it.
My name is Tavius Randall. I'm from Belgrade, Montana, and I'm majoring in business. I chose CBC because Coach Owen showed a lot of interest in me and had high hopes for me. He has really helped me become a better team player.
My name is Ashley Nixon, and I am studying radiology. I came to CBC to further my academic and athletic career. The administration here at CBC has been fantastic. They really show good support for me and my teammates and just hope the best for us.
You're gonna be active, your hands are gonna be high, you're gonna talk, you're gonna protect each other, and we're gonna run fast.
I love CBC because it feels like a community here. Professors are always willing to work with your schedules and help you succeed in the classroom. I am very grateful that my coach took a chance on me, allowing me to have the opportunity to create a family and friendships that will last a lifetime.
My time here at CBC has been nothing but great. And if I had the chance, I'd do it all over again.
We gotta get a mindset. We gotta get an attitude about us. Everybody can do it. Hey, you ain't gotta be super talented to play the way we play. It's an attitude. My attitude is, this is business. There's a point where you wanted more. There's a point where you wanted more. You want it. You can go get it.
My name is Tavius Randall. I'm from Belgrade, Montana, and I'm majoring in business. I chose CBC because Coach Owen showed a lot of interest in me and had high hopes for me. He has really helped me become a better team player.
My name is Ashley Nixon, and I am studying radiology. I came to CBC to further my academic and athletic career.
The administration here at CBC has been fantastic. They really show good support for me and my teammates and just hope the best for us.
You're gonna be active, your hands are gonna be high, you're gonna talk, you're gonna protect each other, and we're gonna run fast.
I love CBC because it feels like a community here.